Jó reggelt kívánok, Kocs Bács. Jó? Hmm. Boy, I like my coffee. My dad used to drink coffee night and day, and it used to always amaze me. But, I finish my coffee by about 11 in the morning. I'll have 2 or 3 cups of coffee in a day. If I have coffee past noon, then I'll be awake past midnight. But anyway, start of another day, and I was out and about yesterday trying to. Well, I don't try to think about something to talk about each morning on my videos. I more or less wait wait until something pops into my mind that I think is interesting or puzzling or whatever it is. And so today is a day that I'll share a thought with you that came through my mind yesterday. Uh, before doing that, I gotta say that it's kind of nice getting back to when I those of you that follow me regularly, you know that I took all my life's possessions and put them into banana boxes and put it all into a 5x5 storage unit, and this house was all ready to sell, and and I took it off the market. I took it off the market, and here I find myself with here for the last week or two. I found myself with a garage full of banana boxes because I took most of it out of storage, which was just a mile down the street. There's no sense in paying $80 a month or whatever the hell it was, uh, $1,000 a year to have stuff sitting in a storage unit when you've got a garage downstairs that'll fit 2 cars and a golf car in it. And so I spent some time bringing this stuff back from the storage unit into the house, or into the garage rather. And then I further segregated it. Most of my personal stuff is still in banana boxes downstairs in the garage. But other stuff, the things for the home. For example, if I can pan this around, you'll see. I've got my bookcase with my blender up on top, and the KitchenAid blender and all my cookbooks. I've got all my cookbooks over there, and haven't put the refrigerator magnets back up yet. You can remember I had all the refrigerator magnets, but haven't gotten around to getting the refrigerator magnets up. But maybe in due time. Anyway, one of the interesting things about living alone, or being a loner, maybe that's the better word. One of the more interesting things about being a loner is you don't oftentimes have somebody to share your thoughts with. When you're with somebody, you can just bounce your thoughts and your ideas off somebody. But when you're a loner, you can't do that as much. So you gotta self process. You gotta self process your thoughts, and at times that solitude can lead people to become babbling fools like me. But anyway, so I'm sitting in a Panda Express yesterday. For those of you overseas, like in Ireland or what have you, Panda Express is just it's really a nice franchise where you can go in and eat as healthy as you want or as terrible as you want, and it's a fast food Chinese place, and it's moderately, very very nicely priced. You can get a nice dinner, more than you could ever want to eat for about $8 or something like that. And they give you samples. They give you samples, on top of all that. But anyway, so I was just sitting in the Panda Express yesterday, and I was just watching the people, just watching the people come in and go out, come in and go out, and what have you. And for whatever reason, and it's not the first time it popped into my head, mind you, but for whatever reason, uh, the thought of the lottery of life came into my head. The lottery of life. And there's certain things that have challenged me over the years, and the lottery of life is one of the things that challenges me. And the other thing that used to challenge me all the time was, seeing suffering, seeing suffering, seeing people, go through life and have malformities or deformities rather, deformities and just whatever conditions people might have and what have you. The suffering was something that always challenged me. If there's a God, why does He allow suffering? And I came to the answer. I came to the answer that answer or conclusion that God doesn't allow the suffering as much as humanity allows the suffering, because if the collective whole of humanity got its shit together and started to address some of the more significant problems, then we'd see a lot less suffering if the collective whole of humanity was you fully using the talents that God has given us. But anyway, but back to the back to the lottery of life. So what I find interesting oftentimes is, as you go through life, well, when you come into life, when you come into this world, you know, you have you have no control. It's like a crapshoot. It's just like a crapshoot. You have no control over how attractive or unattractive you're going to be. You have no control over where you're going to be. Are you going to be, born into a, a family of posh, posh. Are you going to be born into wealth, or are you going to be born into you're going to be born into the slums of Calcutta, or whatever it is. You have no control. You have no control really over where you're going to be, where you're going to end up. And I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe is the maybe there's a queue. Maybe there's a queue up in heaven, and the souls that are waiting in queue to come down upon the moment of conception. Maybe they pick and choose their disposition. Maybe we, I should say, pick and choose our disposition before we even get here. But interesting concept, isn't it? But who knows? Who the hell knows how it all works? Hopefully one day, we'll figure it out. But no, as far as the lottery of life, it's just interesting. It's just interesting that some people they have to endure, their time in this world with nothing but struggle and hardship, and other people go through this world with just nothing but comfort and joy. But it's just something that goes through my mind now and then. And it's interesting. I asked myself yesterday when I was coming out of the restaurant, going to my car. as I found myself asking myself, I wasn't talking out loud, mind you. Okay, I wasn't talking out loud to myself as I was walking to the car, but in my mind, I was uh, I was asking myself whether or not I've won the lottery. Whether or not I've won the lottery of life, and it's I didn't necessarily have a ready answer for that. And it's interesting that to 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 think whether you've made, won the lottery or not. Some people who seemingly have it all, they have nothing. And some people that seemingly have nothing, they have everything. And so you can't really gauge the you can't really gauge, whether or not you've won the lottery based upon what you have or what you don't have insofar as material possession. I don't think, because you can have it all and have nothing, or have nothing and have it all. And anyway, it's just interesting. My life, my heart goes out to the people that have to struggle with being handicapped, or what have you, and just every day is just a physical a physical challenge or struggle for them. But anyway, and yesterday we were reading in the High Hope thing, we were talking about, or I was talking about something about, I think the High Hope yesterday was tell a story. And by telling a story, it'll help people better understand you. And I've got many a story to tell. But one story that popped into my mind, that reminded me of times past, and when I was really struggling in life, was a time when I must have been about 23 or 24 years old. And during my 20s, I was living footloose and fancy free, but I was also living hand to mouth. And it was a struggle. And that's back when I was chasing life's dangling carrot, which you'll often hear me refer to as a reference to chasing success. And back then, I would do whatever was necessary to survive. And I got into real estate. I was kind of coached into real estate by my father's brother, and his name was Steve, Uncle Steve. Knowledgeable guy. I mean, he was quite knowledgeable when it came to real estate. But he steered me into real estate, and so there I was trying to make a fortune, trying to grab a bite of that carrot by getting into real estate. And they say it takes a year and a half once you start selling real estate to make it or not. It takes a good year and a half to make it or not. And so while I was trying to make it in real estate, I was working odd and end jobs. I was taking care of, I did a lot of in-home nursing. Taking care of all types of patients, people with Alzheimer's, people with Parkinson's, people with HIV, people with uh, everything that you could imagine. For a while, I had a patient that had set himself on fire with kerosene, and so it was during that time that I was trying to sell real estate that I answered an ad in a paper, and there was this woman who was looking for it wasn't as much, I don't know if the word is caregiver, but she was looking for somebody to help her. She couldn't drive, and apparently she had some money, From the looks of her home, you wouldn't think that, but she had some money, and she wanted somebody. She was going to exchange a room. She would give you a room to live in and limited house privileges in exchange for running errands for her. I think 2 days or 3 days a week or something like that. And it sounded like an ideal opportunity. It just sounded like an ideal opportunity. So in I moved with this woman, and long story short, I had been living with her for 2 or 3 months, and the real estate office was going to have this annual summer uh, event, like picnic or something like that down in San Francisco. And I had asked this woman far in advance if I could have that day off. And that day arrived, and uh, and I told her that I wasn't going to be around that day because I was going to that thing, and she complained, and I told her that I had told her about it for weeks. And anyway, so I come back from a night, a wonderful day in San Francisco, and I must have been 23, 24 years old. I come back from a wonderful day in San Francisco on a beautiful yacht and what have you, and I pull up into this home in a modest neighborhood. Pull up into this home at about 10 o'clock or 10:30 at night, and as I go up, I see these bags in front of the door. I think, what the hell is this? And I look at the bags, and it's all my stuff. It's just all my stuff put at the door. And I thought, what the hell is this? So I rang the doorbell, and she wouldn't answer or something like that. And I think I can't remember the specifics, but I think I called her and she said something to the effect of, I need to have somebody available, and all this type of stuff. So long story short, she had thrown me out on my ear, and and there I was, with an old I don't know what kind of car it was, a Buick or something like that, with an old car, and the passenger side door wouldn't open, and there I had to load my trunk, load my trunk with these bags of stuff, and what have you. And I remember one of the things that I owned at that time was this weird shelving unit that went inside of a closet made up of like 1,000 little pieces. And I was so furious at this woman that I sat there at about 1:30 in the morning, and I took this I don't even remember what it was. I just know it had about 1,000 little plastic pieces, and I just started pitching these little plastic pieces, scattering them all over her lawn. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have just gone on, but I was young and stupid. But anyway, and then I was left into a situation where uh, I had nowhere to stay. So I was sleeping in my car. I was sleeping in my car, and I would take overnight shifts, through the nursing agency. I would take overnight shifts somewhere, so just so I would have, a place to stay at night. And I used to go into when I was selling real estate, I used to go into the Salvation Army. I used to go into the Salvation Army and buy suits, buy suits from, probably people that had gentlemen that had deceased or something, and the wife gave all their clothes to the Salvation Army. But anyway, so to finish the story, for a while there, I was homeless, and I was working in a real estate office, a Coldwell Banker real estate office in downtown Santa Rosa, California, and what I would do, I had the keys to the front door, and it was a two-story building, and the upstairs was unfinished. The upstairs was just, plywood floors and what have you. They were going to make it office space, but for all intent and purpose, it was empty. It was just empty space. And I used to go in. I used to go in at night after hours, as if I were going in the office to grab something, and I would sneak upstairs with my bedroll. I had a sleeping bag and a pillow, and there I would sleep in the office upstairs in an empty office, and it worked out for a while. I'd wake up really really early and go down to the bathroom and shave and what have you, and it worked for a while until one day I walked into the office and the manager asked to see me, and 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 I sit down and and he pointed over into the corner and he said, "What's this?" And I looked over and there was my bedroll. There was my bedroll and my pillow. And needless to say, I was fired. And it was a it was just it was a challenging time in my life, to say the very least. So anyway, so for those of you out there that may think that that may think that I've won the lottery of life and what have you, and when I talk about Lord willing, I'm gonna drive across the country this summer with a with a beautiful new truck and a camper and all that stuff. Life hasn't has not always been easy for me. In fact, it's not. It's been anything but. It's been anything but easy for me over a good majority of the time that I've had the opportunity to spend on this planet. But anyway, so that's the story for the day. Maybe on another day I'll tell you the story of how I closed the garage door on the same guy that fired me, who found my bedroll. How I closed the garage door on his dog, his little beloved dog that came racing after him one day as we were dropping something off at his house. I'll never forget that. Hearing this guy say, my dog," and the dog was okay, mind you. The dog was okay, but the garage door closed on the dog's head. As I closed the garage door, the dog came running out to see the guy or something like that. I don't remember. But anyway, so that's the story for the day. Another thing, talking about life's lottery. I recently heard in the news. I recently heard in the news a discussion about the plight of Seattle. How Seattle has become a cesspool. How Seattle is just has gone to pot, gone to crap, and and Seattle and San Francisco as well. San Francisco, they've got a problem where when you go to San Francisco as a tourist now, they give you a map of where not to go because of human poop on the street. They do. I mean, just Google San Francisco poop on the street. They've got this problem down in San Francisco where people are defecating, all over the streets of San Francisco. And then the other day I heard something about Seattle with a similar idea or situation. And you know what? I don't like to talk politics, all that often, but that right there is what you get with liberalism. I'm not going to say socialism, because I told a good friend of mine the other day, in a good friend of mine who's a devout liberal. I told him, and he lives close to San Francisco, and I love this guy to death. And I said, "See, Mike," I said, "that's what socialism does." And he said, "That's not socialism." And I said, "Well, look at Venezuela. Look at poor Venezuela. I said, that's socialism. And he said, no, 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 that's not socialism. That's a dictator or whatever you want to call it. And I said, well, nonetheless. I said, nonetheless. But anyway, yeah, I woke up this morning and I was kind of flipping around on YouTube, and I saw this video that said Seattle is dying. And I think it's from ABC News. And, for those of you out there outside the United States that have this vision of America just being this wonderful, wonderful place, and for the most part it is. For the most part, it is a wonderful, wonderful place. But go watch that. Go watch that video. Seattle is dying, and you're going to see liberalism at its best. You'll see liberalism. Those are cities that are run by the AOCs of the world, the, the liberals. Those are cities run by the liberals, and as we're 2 years into, or 2.5 years into the Trump presidency, now that the collusion delusion is over, that whole fiasco of of trying to nail Trump for something that he didn't do. My brother gave me some interesting insight into that, and he may have gotten it from listening to Rush Limbaugh or something. But it's sad when we live in a society where people are hoping, they were hoping that their president was caught colluding with a foreign government. They were hoping that they found themselves hoping that he had done that, so that he would be, found guilty and thrown out of office. But say what you will, about the Trump administration, but I got to tell you that the economy, the economy is very strong in the United States. The the unemployment rate is basically at zero. If you want to work in America, you can work in America. The unemployment rate is essentially zero. The unemployment rate among minorities is the lowest it's ever been historically. It's the lowest it's ever been. So, you gotta give credit where credit's due. And for those of you out there that live here in the United States and watch my videos, and are liberal minded, so to speak, share your comments. What's wrong with America right now, insofar as the Trump presidency? Has crime gone up? Has just what's wrong with America? And in all likelihood, we're probably going to have barring any unforeseen major scandal or collapse of the economy, we're probably going to have 4 more years of the Trump administration. Look at Hawaii. Maybe I should go to Hawaii. I pulled this out, when I was unloading all my banana boxes yesterday. I brought in my coffee cups. So now I have a selection of destinations to go to in the morning. But anyway, let's wrap this up. I got to get on with my day. I've got the dentist plural, coming up to my house today to work on their web presence. And I decided that it's the better part of 45 minutes to drive down to where they live. And when she made the proposal, of exchanging services for the web presence for the dental work, when she made that proposal, and I found myself thinking, okay, well, if this is going to be an ongoing type of arrangement, driving to Naples is not my idea of fun. 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to charge her for my time, charge her for my drive time. And when I went to meet with her and I said, and I proposed, okay, you want to meet Saturday? She said, here's my address. Here's my address. You come to me unless you want to pay me drive time. If you want to pay me for my drive time, then I'll drive, I'll drive to Kansas if if need be. I mean, I'll be going that way anyway, in a few weeks. So, I'll drive to I'll drive down to Kansas. But anyway, all right. So enough with the day. Alexa, what's the question of the day?
Good morning. Here is today's question of the day. It's from our science game pack and is worth 4 points. Atoms are packed together the tightest. In which type of matter? You can answer A, plasma, B, liquid, C, solid, or D, gas.
Solid.
You have 2 correct answers in a row. You have earned your 4th science badge and 4 points. Atoms in a solid are tightly packed, usually in a regular pattern, helping the solid retain a fixed volume and shape.
I think that's what
Okay, maybe next time.
I think
Your
that's
play
what they
streak is
call
at
a
2 days in a row. You
I think
still
that's
have
what they
free
call a
game pack
no-brainer.
available.
Atoms are packed together the tightest or whatever. In what form? Liquid, plasma, solid, or gas? Didn't have to scratch your head too hard for that one, but anyway, maybe one of these days I should try Jeopardy again. Try to play Jeopardy again. But here is I got another book here. I'll still do the High Hope, but here's a book here called Inspirational Meditations. And I just opened it, and I don't know, you can see if there's any connection between what I was talking about. They kind of have these abstract little things in here, but the today is from Agnes de Mille. No trumpet sound when the important decisions of our life are made. Destiny is made known silently. No trumpet sound when the important decisions of our life are made. Destiny is made known silently. So anyway, there's your inspirational meditation for the day. And as far as the High Hope goes, one thing at a time. Multitasking is greatly overrated. It can dissipate your efforts and cut your concentration span. Do it when you must, but when you can, focus all your energies on the task at hand. And the quote from Alexander Graham Bell, Watson, come here, I need you, is the sun's rays do not burn until brought to a focus. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to a focus. So anyway, have a good day. And I'll give you a bonus one today. I've been getting beat up lately. I've been getting beat up with the thumbs down. Almost yesterday I think the thumbs down were 2-1 on my video. But anyway, so here's your bonus one for today. It just happened to coincide with the one thing at a time. Give Tom a break. Try not to be such a hard marker. Allow for the vagaries of others. I don't even know that word, vagaries. Allow for the vagaries of others, their unknown personal problems. Give them, give them the benefits of the doubt. Make allowance for others and yourself. And that quote comes from Henry David Thoreau, who I think was a loner himself. It often happens that a man is more humanely related to a cat or dog than to any other human being. So there you go, folks. Have a wonderful